Hi everyone. So I am sitting on a trampoline. Hopefully everything works out. It's the new moon today, and so I wanted to film a video with all of the ambiance and answer some questions that I wrote down about this new moon and ceremoniously let go and move through some things. This is 528 hertz. I've been hitting this throughout the day, much like people hit a vape. I've been hitting my tuning fork. Okay. So I'm actually going to keep these two things in my hands and I'm going to hit them as I need them. The first thing we're going to answer today, I'm a little self-conscious. I haven't filmed in a second, and let's just, before we go into the questions, the last time I filmed, I was sitting in the office and I was in a very particular state of being. Now I'm still me, but when I level up my consciousness, when I evolve, I get a little bit nervous in front of the camera because I'm like, this version of me hasn't been in front of the camera like this. So, hi. Hi. I'm nervous. Admitting you're nervous is step one in a lot of things. Okay. And I'm also, like I said, I'm on a trampoline. So, vibes. Just kind of to ground myself, but still allow me to have that bounce. So if I'm like bouncing and stuff while I'm talking, that's why. Okay, so the questions that we're gonna want to ponder in this video. The first one, what brings me joy? What brings me joy? This brings me joy. This brings me joy. I almost like don't want to talk over the birds and the wind. This particular setting is my nanny's porch, and I grew up here. This was my favorite room when I was younger because I would come out here and play and I'd get to listen to the birds, and there's so much natural light. It's sliders on all sides of the room besides this wall with the door to the main house. And this yard, this sensory experience, watching the birds, it brings me so much joy. And on top of that, filming also brings me so much joy because it's not just for me right now, although it is. It allows me to move through things and ask questions, but also I allow myself and others to watch it again in the future. And I'm working on a lot of fun projects that allow me to speak through different mediums, and YouTube videos is just one of them. So that brings me joy. Nature brings me joy. Presence brings me joy. What do I mean by presence? I mean being so in love with life, like all of it, not just the good times, not just the concerts, not just the good food, okay, but even the grossest emotions. Now, I'm not saying that the grossest emotions bring me joy, not saying that, but actually over time they do in a way bring me joy, because life is not something that is traversed in a way that's the same throughout, right? Like, we go through peaks and troughs, we go through ups and downs, we go through sadness and happiness, like Picasso, right? His blue period, his pink period. So the dark gives perspective to the light gives perspective to the dark. So even though in my darkest, grossest moments, I haven't necessarily felt joy in those moments, feeling emotion brings me joy. Feeling emotion brings me joy, because when I embody the truth of who I am as a person, as a human being, right? Like, because in my perspective, we all have some sense of soul or ether or etheric body, right, around us. That body becomes form here in me and in you, if you're a human. And so when I embody my truth, I am feeling my emotions as they come up, ideally. And in doing so, I am transforming. And transformation brings me a lot of joy, because like, it just makes me grin ear to ear, because transformation is what makes life possible, right? Thinking about life and death, you wouldn't have one without the other. And thinking about how life is created, or at least how human life is created, you make a baby, okay? Cells are transformed. Mitosis is happening, okay? Cell migration, that's not what I'm thinking of. Cell transformation, cell mutation, all those things are transformation. So when I think of my music, for example, because making music does bring me joy, but notice how I didn't go right to that. I wasn't like, oh, making music, coloring, right? Like, those things can bring me joy. They have the potential to bring me joy, but what really brings me joy is me. What really brings me joy is me, and this is a huge moment for me to be saying that, because a lot of the time when you ask somebody, including myself, what brings you joy, it's like there's something in a basket and they're bringing the joy to you. God in a basket bringing joy to you. Music in a basket bringing joy to you. And music can bring joy, but if I'm feeling crunchy, gross, disgusting, and I don't want to listen to music, music isn't going to bring me joy, right? It is I who allow joy. It is I who allows joy. It is I who allows joy to flow through me. Joy exists all around us all the time. It's just a matter of whether or not we're tuned into it. So what brings me joy? Myself. Loving myself brings me joy. Giving myself grace. Okay, not always does that bring me joy, but overall, I bring myself joy. I allow joy. But also all those other things, right? Transformation, God, the universe, source, however you want to call it, blah, 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 spirit. People get all caught up in the language there. Don't get caught up. Caught up, got me feeling caught up. Don't know what it is, but it seems you've got me twisted. I'm so caught up. Period. I get self-conscious singing. I do. But singing also brings me joy, and it's not just singing in the typical sense. I had a deep conversation about this yesterday. Singing is not it's just not that. Singing is an activity that our voice can do, but I don't like to perform. I like to be authentic. Okay, so being a good singer has been challenging, a good singer, right? Because somebody hears you have a good voice and then they call you a singer, and then you have to learn how to sing. And there's all these techniques on how to learn how to sing. It's very serious, and your muscles have to do a certain thing. And it's like, ugh. It's like, no. Our ancestors weren't taking vocal technique 101 to be professional singers, and they were singing all day, every day, all the time, okay? It's really about having a free voice. And that brings me joy, having a free voice, being able to sing without conditions. Right? So just then I was like, caught up, got me feeling it, caught up, don't know what it is, but it seems you've got me twisted. That's all free. But then when I did it earlier, it was like, caught up, got me feeling it. I'm doing stuff with my mouth. So vocal resonance really intrigues me. I am partnering with my magical coach. Kid you not, I hired her to teach me magic. You remember that? She and I will be hosting she's doing it. I'm just there. But working on allowing people to learn how to sing for fun without having it to be all this like stressful bullshit that I learned in like school and stuff, which is awesome. How to free your voice from the shackles of authoritarianism. Okay, that's what I'm taking from it. So singing brings me joy, making music brings me joy, connection brings me joy, connection with people I love brings me joy, sex brings me joy. Particular type of sex though, not all sex is going to bring me joy. Sex that has room for God, you'll know what I mean if you know what I mean. Like, there are times where you engage in sexual activities and there is not room for God in the room because you are doing something that doesn't feel godly. But when I have sex, particularly with this one person that I have in my mind, it feels like God's in the room. It feels like our connection is blessed. And I ain't making that up in my head. That is felt by both parties and discussed openly. The dream. And not to say it's a religious practice, not to say it's like I feel like there's a hair, there is. It's like tickling myself. Not to say it's a religious practice, right? Sex is not historically a religious practice, but it is a communion of souls. And that's how I perceive it. And when it's a communion of souls, that's joyful as fuck. Period. Yes. But connection in general doesn't have to be sexual, right? It could be staring into someone's eyes into presence, right? Not into presence, but in presence together. Doing an activity with somebody, particularly outside, those are fun. But also sitting in deep conversation is a joy of mine. I like listening, and because when I hear people, I see the movies in my head of what they've experienced. They're not perfect, but they're not exactly what the person experienced, but they're my interpretation of what's being, not my interpretation either, it's honestly just the energy that's created in my mind, right? Yeah. Conversation. Yeah. And also, I would also say something that brings me joy is integrating the form and the formless, the spirit with the human. It has been a challenge of mine, and it has only recently become fun. And I teared up a couple times earlier because there's that feeling of integration that feels so yucky at first, but you just become more yourself, right? Like the soul and the human cellular structure, I don't know what to call it, they integrate, right? Like DNA, like it unfolds. Yeah, so I really like that. My back's kind of hurting, so I'm just gonna crack it for a second. Okay. My Reiki master, he was always like, you don't have to sit like a Buddha whenever you're doing things. And honestly, you can't see, so I can do whatever I want with my legs. Okay. Also, what brings me joy is being weird. I like saying, being honest. Being honest brings me joy because I haven't had many opportunities in my life to say exactly what I mean when I mean it, and I've had recent opportunities to be as honest as I want with the right people, and that brings me joy. That brings me a lot of joy because I had bit my tongue for so long, and then I actually wrote a song. You probably maybe know my album Mother Tongue, which I don't know the Roman numeral now that it's codified, but there was this song where I said, oh gosh, the tune isn't coming to me now, but how I don't bite my tongue. Oh, and I don't bite it anymore. Hold on. This is my motherfucking tongue, slick with rage, motherfucker. Just kidding. Slick with, oh, fuck, I don't know the words to my own song. Don't sue me, okay? I have 600 something songs out, okay? Almost 700 now. Oh, I just released, okay, plug. I released a raw, live, unedited album of demos that I strummed on guitar, and I do not play guitar, but I am interested in exploring how a guitar might be a good duet partner for me. And I feel like authentic music is where I'm moving. I feel like I had to make 700 AI songs and release those just to feel like a good enough musician to release my own, because this album, I recorded it last year. Hold on. I recorded it last year, and I didn't call it an album. I was like, oh, I'll upload these into AI and I'll make real songs out of them, whatever. And I still will do that. There is one that I do want to record, like fully, but I was like, gave myself the ick, and like I had cringe feelings about the songs that I recorded, and then I recently stumbled across them almost a year later, wearing the same shirt that I recorded them in, and I was like, these are beautiful, because it's a different time now. Authenticity is what people want. It's what I want. I want raw. I want unedited. I want live. Yeah. So that's what that album is. I'm excited for it. It's called Raw Live Unedited : Raw Live Unedited : I play guitar for the first time, parentheses, thank you to my ex, because it's my ex's guitar that I was using for that. And we honor her. Here. Okay. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to talk about that brings me joy. And again, things aren't bringing me joy. I am the joy. Yay! I am the joy, right? I am the joy in my own life. I bring the joy. I bring the joy to myself, and I bring the joy to others, and I am no longer ashamed of that. It's okay to be joyous in the face of uncertainty. It's okay to be joyous in the face of pain and suffering. Okay? The joy comes from within. Like, nobody's gonna come down and save me and bring me a bucket of joy. Okay? We can create that ourselves. You don't have to be dependent on the creation, right? Like, what do I mean by that? Like, you don't want to be like put pressure on yourself to create a certain amount of joy, right? It's just like, you want to live and love your life, so be joyous. I don't know. I feel like Jesus says that. Be joyous. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Otherwise, this video will be 100 miles long. Okay, what brings me flow of love? Okay, we're gonna start also this answer with myself, right? If you think about, I have this song on my album, Off Duty on Fire, talking about the flow of energy and being like a channel for it. And also, when you want to change directions, you just turn the spigot, right? So like, you're going over here, and then you're like, I'm gonna go over here now, right? Like, it changes the flow of what I was thinking of as fluid. But what brings me flow of love? Again, with the bringing, I guess this is a really good question, because what does flow of love really mean? Like, what allows it to replenish, right, and come time and time again through me? And, well, now I'm thinking of sex. Sex brings me flow of love, again, with divine communion. Let's call it divine communion with souls. So connection primarily brings me flow of love. Human beings that are alive. It can be through the internet, or it can be in person, but definitely humans bring me flow of love more than anything else, for sure. But my music, of course, creates the energetic scaffolding for me to enjoy my flow of love because I love myself through my music. So when I listen to it, I flow through myself in a way, and it does create that energetic scaffold for me to not like lose my grounding, because in the past I used to not really want to be here. I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. Like, it's like, what am I doing here? Why am I on earth? I don't really like it. And I was like, okay, So then I created my music so that way I would never feel like really alone, because even if you're really spiritual, even if you are connected to the divine and all that good stuff, which I consider myself to be, even though I know I'm never alone, sometimes I feel alone. And yeah, my music allows me to remember that I'm not. And it's tried and true because I made it and I remember making it. It's not from some God outside of myself. It was made in presence with myself and sometimes in communion with God. But I never forget that love exists when I listen to my music. So I would say that definitely brings me flow of love as well. And my lover brings me flow of love. My lover is plural, you know, like I never want to hinder myself from having a flow of love. I'm like getting teary-eyed and like, I don't know, I love love. I want there to be more of it in the world. I'm sad sometimes, a lot of the time, when I see what other people are going through and the hardships that the world is facing, and I understand that it's a privilege to be joyous, it's a privilege to be light and love and levity, and so I like to spread it. That is fun as well. Yeah, the act of spreading love is also important. I am a flow, I am a structure that love flows through, right? I am a structure that love flows through, so it does feel like my duty in my heart to share that love with the world, and it looks different depending on the activity I'm doing, and so that starts with me. Like, I don't just like do philanthropy and give back to others without loving myself first, because that's a fruitless endeavor, and it's unsustainable. Oh no, the shadow is coming. It's creeping up, you see it? Okay. What brings meaning into my life? So we make the meaning in our lives. We make the meaning in our lives. So I make meaning. I make my meaning. And meaning is in the eye of the beholder. It's in the mind of the beholder. And we can revise the meaning of our lives at any given moment. You can revise the meaning of any event based on your interpretation and how you want to alchemize it into your body. So, for example, when we're going through a deep grief period, which I just did, when I go through a grief period, in the moment, it is loss. But I also hold deep love. So what meaning am I making? I am integrating love and loss, and I'm creating something new with it. So it's important in my life to have the opportunity and the capacity to make meaning for myself. I love metaphors. I speak often in metaphor, and I choose to make meaning every single day. Even like, I'm gonna give you like examples. Like, yes, I'm somebody who like sees messages and license plates and stuff, and I also am very keen on numerology, but something as simple as my like toe getting stuck in a door, I will say out loud something like, oh, my toe is stuck in this door. I wonder what that represents. And it becomes a way to use a mental model, a metaphor, to integrate part of your soul essence into your body. Because like when you're in alignment, you're not stubbing your toe. Like, not to say that people who in alignment don't stub their toes, but it's like you're moving quickly from one place to another. You know, there's ways that we can live and walk in flow that moments of like stubbing your toe or being exasperated or rushed, this is just an example, like those things don't happen. So yeah, like the littlest things, like it's like tarot readers on here, they're like, oh, it's a sign, you know, like, are you here? I was outside the other day and there was a bell, a church bell, And the person I was with went, confirmation, and I lit up like a Christmas tree, because that's my language. Like, that's my language. I speak metaphor, I speak universe. I'm not just Lana in this body doing this job, filming this video. I am a part of a much greater ecosystem that a lot of humans aren't really aware of or tapped into, and it can feel lonely, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I need to make meaning in my life. So even if I'm making that meaning in my art by myself, it is valuable. Humans bring meaning into my life, but also living things, the earth, being embedded into something larger than myself, but also knowing there are infinitely smaller things in me. Very exciting. Okay, so the last couple questions. The first one is, what is it I care so much about that I would fight for? I'm not much of a fighter. I'm more of a lover myself. But this is an Aries season. There's an Aries stellium happening. There's 6 planets in Aries right now. The fact that I am so grounded and chill, I'm so proud of the work that I've done. But there's fire here. So when we think about what is it I care so much about that I would fight for, I struggle with the word fight, because I don't like to fight. I don't like to fight, because when you fight yourself, you have resistance. So I guess, what do I have resistance to? And the thing I would say is authoritarianism. Yeah. If I could fight something, I would fight authoritarianism. I would fight greed. I would fight power that exploits. I would fight containers that make us small. I would fight, and I wouldn't fight the things themselves. I would create opportunities to dismantle the structures that create that power imbalance. Power imbalance. I fight that. I fight that. I feel bad fighting. I don't like to fight. I don't like to fight at all. It makes me really uncomfortable to fight, but I understand it can be valuable. But I don't believe in war, and I don't believe in weaponry, and I don't believe in violence. And say what you want about that. That's just not my thing. I wouldn't be good at it. I'm a lover through and through. But I do not believe in authoritarianism. I do not believe in exploitation. I do not believe in wealth inequality. I do not believe in anything that takes away my power or my sovereignty. I want to be a sovereign being. I am a sovereign being. So what do I care enough about to fight for? My sovereignty, and the sovereignty of the people I love and all of humanity. And living things everywhere, living beings and all beings, when we're all sovereign and we do not externalize our power and give it to somebody else, we've reduced our dependency on external structures, that we are no longer, when we partake in a system, we keep the structure up so that the structure supports us, right? So by giving my energy away into the system is supported, and that system does not support me, I support me. So when we all support ourselves in community and communion, and let love and light and the divine and God move through our structures, then we can create a healthy interdependence where I'm not reliant on you, you're not reliant on me, I'm not reliant on the system isn't reliant on me, but instead we all cohabitate. It hasn't been done yet at the scale humans are at now, which is why it is hard to conceptualize sometimes. But interdependence is a real thing. Nonlinear dynamics and self-organization is a real thing. I studied it, okay? I read so many articles about self-organization and nonlinear dynamics and what it means to be a self-organizing system, and how we can create flow and dynamics within that flow, and how there's macroscopic and microscopic behavior, and how the flow and the current influence each other to create a pattern, and it's nature, really. It's that simple. It's just nature. But nature coming in with the wind. I will go down with this shit. I will turn my eyes up and surrender. White flag. So I'm getting. So I'm just saying, like, capitalism is outdated. Authoritarianism, democracy even is a little bit outdated. Okay, there are more things in this world that we can be doing, but nobody really likes them because it takes the power away from the 1%. So it's not enough to have freedom. I'm not fighting for freedom. I'm fighting for sovereignty. There is a difference. I'm not going to go into it in this moment because I don't want to, but there's a difference. You know there's a difference. One's very American. The other one is very universal. Okay. All right, lastly, what am I passionate and inspired by that? What am I so passionate or inspired by that I would give my life for it? Let's briefly talk about what it means to give your life for something. So if you give your life to science, it's different. It's different to give your body to science and to give your life to science. I'm not going to give my life to science. I'm going to give my life to myself. Thank you. I'm trying to think if there's anything I would die for. I mean, I definitely have said the phrase, like, that's to die for. I think I would die for love. Like, if I couldn't love, I would die. If my cellular structure no longer supported the frequency that is love, I would die. And death is just a transformation. I'm not scared of it anymore, which is crazy. I used to be terrified of death. Woo! Woo! Terrified of death. I used to have panic attacks all the time because I was sensitive to energies. I would go places and dead people would attach to me. Nah, it ain't that deep. But as someone who's very sensitive to energy, death always scared me. And as human, Lana, death scared me because we're taught that it's the end. This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. And it's not the end, but no part of my human form knows that, right? We are finite in an infinite ocean of all things. It's crazy if you think about how we're here and what we're doing here. Like, it's just insane. The fact that I'm sitting here on a fucking trampoline filming this to you, like in this square box thing on a little tripod, but then also I'm sitting in this beautiful screen porch and I'm hearing like the trees and the birds, and I see the houses, and we're like living in boxes, and it's like, then I zoom out and I'm, you know, in orbit around the earth, and I see the earth and I'm like, whoa, and then I zoom out and I see the solar system, I'm like, whoa, and then I connect with the sun and I'm like, me and you, we tight, like I get light energy. I identify more as a light wave than anything else, but my challenge has been to integrate the light into Lana the light, Lana the light, right? We want the light to move through me, not so I can become light, right? And not so that way I can lose Lana, right? It's both. It's both things. It's what Dolores Cannon talks about when she talks about like turning into light beings. So I would give my life for love. Do you believe in life after love? I feel something inside those blood. I hate when I'm on camera. Ready? Let's see if I can channel. Ready? Share. Do you believe in life after love? I feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong Do you believe in life after love? Do you? Do you believe in life after love? And I guess I just said I don't. I don't. If I can't have love, and that's why it's like, love in my world is no longer just romantic love or partnership or friendship even. Love is God, the divine, the universe, source. I'm never without love unless I don't love myself. I'm disconnected from myself, my truth. I'm disconnected from myself, disconnected from God, disconnected from the world. That's when I would lose love. But even if I lose a partner, even if I lose a family member, even if I lose my connection with God, I can still find love within myself, and I make that my mission, and I make that my purpose. It seems so simple, but it really isn't, because love isn't something you can talk about. Love isn't something you can quantify. And I remember, actually, I have this memory from when I was young. I was in first grade. I remember because I had this teacher who used to give us, for our birthdays, stuffed animals tied with balloons. Mrs. Foster. She felt like my foster mom. I had a mom, but she worked, and she didn't really feel like a mom, respectfully. And anyway, I remember being in her classroom. I don't remember exactly the exercise or whatever, but we were learning nouns. I don't remember the exercise also. I remember the exercise. We were learning nouns, and we were like drawing pictures or something of nouns. And I wanted to draw love. And I had a really hard time with it. Because I was like, my young brain didn't know the word operationalize at the time, but I was like, I could operationalize it, like love could be, eating ice cream, like, or, mom, it's very family oriented when you're that age. So I was like, oh, my family. And I was like, I don't really love my family like that. Like, love didn't flow through my family when we were young. My nanny and being here in this room was the closest to love that I ever got in my family. And there were other beautiful moments too with, my family members. I'm not ungrateful at all. But like, when it comes to effortless love that just flowed all the time, what I have access to now, nobody knew what that was around me. My nanny came the closest, and she was really close with God, and she already experienced, loss in her life, and she knew what was important to her. Her family was important to her. Love was important to her. So, I'm nervous. So, I'm in first grade, and I'm trying to understand how to draw love, and I just remember drawing a red heart and thinking, this is so simple. This is so simplistic. This isn't what love is. Love is God, and God has been co-opted by religion and authority, which we've already expressed our disdain for, well, jumping up and down excitedly on the trampoline. And if you don't believe in God, then believe in love, And like I was talking earlier about sex too, and like how that can be defined, and that's what I mean when I mean love. Communion with self, communion with others, communion with God, with the universe, with something greater than yourself. It can be the fucking sun, it's not that deep. It is though. It's that deep, and it's also not that deep. And that made me so emotional, because I connected with that version of myself who always knew I would reach this point. And I always had an inkling that love was more than what I understood. And growing up and not seeing love around me, I struggled to believe in it. I have journals on journals of me writing, I don't know if I'll, and at the time I was operationalizing it as partnership and romantic love, but I was like, I don't know if I'll ever find love. I don't even know if it's real. I don't even know if I have a soul. I don't even know if that's real. I was so disconnected from myself, so disconnected from the world. Well, I was actually quite connected to the world, but I wasn't really connected with my soul. And as you may or may not know, the world is changing faster than ever, and awakenings are happening more and more around us. And I'm just grateful that I'm awake and I can smell the flowers and I can feel the breeze and I can love myself and love the world and spread love and kindness and light and sit in presence and not have to rush to the next thing anymore. I used to really want to get to the next thing. That was a big thing for me. And I wanted to get to the next thing partially because I was impatient, but also because I wanted to know that I was going to get there. Now I know I'm going to get there. I trust myself. So wherever I set my mind to go, I'll get there. And if things come in the way or timing isn't perfect, then I trust the process. Allow myself the dignity of my process, I say, which is something that my magic coach actually taught me. Allow yourself the dignity of your process, Lana. I was like, what is my process? And then I created, 700 AI songs, and that became part of my process. To hold myself, not to hold myself still, but to just hold myself because I wanted so desperately to be held. And you can have romantic partners, you can have friends and family that hold you, but nobody can ever hold all of you but God, right? Because you are embedded within God, you are embedded within love energy. So you can connect with God and allow that shared field to connect with you and another human or another family member, whatever. And you can do that with yourself as well. So the best connections for me are ones where there's divine love flowing through the connection, so we can be in presence together, embedded into something greater. That's what partnership means to me. And yeah, I just told myself I'm never entering any sort of formal partnership unless that's the foundation. Unconditional love that bonds us and binds us together with something greater than ourselves. It's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about the other person. It's not about the relationship even. It's not about the partnership. It's about what the partnership can do for the world. I'm so unselfish when it comes to that. I'm not here just for me. Yes, I am here. Yes, and I am here for me, but I am also here for you, and I'm here for humanity, and I'm here to bring light, and that is fucking it, and that's enough. People, including myself, used to ponder my purpose and what did I come here for, and da-da-da-da. Girl, it's so simple. And when you know it, you know it. And I'm just grateful to be here, catching a glimpse of myself, appreciating the way I look, appreciating the sun on my face, appreciating the eyes. I feel like there's a light in my eyes that I didn't have before, and I am grateful to myself and to those who love me and those who see me, and to God, Source, Universe, for blessing me and continuing to surprise me in so many fun ways. And so I'm calling in energy on this new moon to move from this place from now on, to never forget this energy in myself. Not me getting a text. I'm itchy. I feel complete. Do you feel complete? Do you feel complete? Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this ambiantic sunsetting video after my 9 to 5. I'm calling in this energy in the new moon. I'm excited for what is going to come next and my unfolding as I move into the next iteration of Lana. I hope you'll come along for the journey. If you want to listen to my music and check out all my stuff, if you go to my YouTube page, there's that link in the bio, my beacons link, and my music everywhere is lanajadereads. I'm working on some more authentic, more raw stuff, so you'll see that coming. And I potentially might be borrowing a guitar from a friend, so maybe there'll be more of that, which I'm very excited about. Confirmation burp. If you want to connect with me one-on-one, I do one-on-one sessions. It's $88 for 45 minutes, where I just bring my light into your situation, essentially shedding light on the truth of whatever you're expressing. Sometimes our truth has a tendency to hide behind words or programs or activities that or behaviors that make us feel safe, when our truth really wants to be expressed. So I create space and time for individuals to come to me and speak what they want to speak, their truth, and I will I was gonna say spread light, but reflect and spread more light into it. So it's kind of like shining a flashlight in a dark room, right? We're gonna see what's really there, and you'll feel it and embody that truth as soon as you. I realize I could have put this up more. Right, let's end it on a high note. This is a different vibe though. But like, okay, wait, no, it's too high. We're just exploring, it's not serious. But like, I notice when I talk, like, so if you're at eye level, you're you're at eye level, you're a little bit below eye level. But my shoulders want to go like this, whereas when you were lower, I was kind of more like this. So it's just like inviting a powerful posture, a confident stance into the next era of me, aligning my spine, that Kundalini awakening, continuing the Reiki experience, continuing speaking my truth, moving through tough energies. Even if it feels like molasses some days, it can still be sweet. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope we get to connect if you feel called. And yeah, this is me calling you. You can pick up if you want. You can call me back. Love you. I'll see you next time.